Dom Tomato went viral and became the face of parkour by doing things no one else could do. Mainly by performing what many would consider his signature move, massive diving front flips.
Oh, come on!
Hey, I'm Tom Coppola, parkour coach, athlete, and nerd. In today's video, we're going to analyze some of Dom's videos to see exactly how he does it. I wanted to take a look at the three main pieces of Dom's front flip: the takeoff, the mid-air position, and the landing. Dom's split-step stance for his diving front, Kong vault, and other diving skills has his right foot forward. More about this later. After he takes off into his dive, he tucks his legs in, taps his knees, and opens up into a tilted position to spot his landing. This mid-air tilt that Dom does actually kind of resembles a side flip. So I looked through some of his videos to see which side he does his side flip on. And sure enough, he side flips the same way he does his takeoff for his front flip. So the opening and spotting he does for his side flip likely helps him when he's doing it for his front flip. Finally, let's take a look at his landing. At first glance, it just looks like a regular parkour roll. But what Dom does unusually well is he manages to smooth out the impact despite the height of some of these challenges. You could chalk this up to practice and progressively doing bigger drops over time. But there's one thing that really started to stand out to me about Dom's roll. It's kind of sideways.
Yo!
Not only that, he also lands in a split step stance. This goes against most logic because typically when we're taking impact, we want to land with our feet square. But it's possible this angled landing is one of the keys to Dom successfully transitioning into his role. The toughest front flip of Dom's career was the Leon 25, a stair set that's famous in other action sports. Jan Schlappen is another parkour athlete who, like Dom, has made a name for himself for some outrageous parkour challenges. And he recently added the Leon 25 front flip to that list. If you notice, Jan also finds himself in a split step stance when he lands, and this allows him to smoothly transition into this sideways shoulder roll. He then miraculously just stands up and runs away unscathed from what's probably the biggest front flip to concrete that's ever happened. So now we have two examples of these experts landing their front flips in this turned position and sideways rolling. I was keen to test this theory, but I'm a bit out of front flip practice, so I called in the boys.
Hello.
This video is supposed to be about front flips, but we're gonna start things off by hitting a Kong. Hey!
Ugly, but I did it.
That's a right foot takeoff. And we got a left foot takeoff. All right guys, I promise we're gonna get to front flips, but the next thing we're gonna do is side flip. Nithin sides left, and Nathan sides right. Okay guys, one more skill before we get to front flips. The hardest one of all, shoulder roll. So they both do a right shoulder roll. Okay guys, so I asked you to do those three skills, the Kong, side flip, and the shoulder roll, to see if your takeoff lines up with your landing. So in your case, Nathan, it does. So you take off with your right foot forward, you side flip right, and you shoulder roll right. But Nithin, it doesn't line up. So you take off left, you side flip left, but you shoulder roll right. So it's definitely gonna make your dive fronts a bit more challenging. Do you guys see how he takes off here and then lands on the same side?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to do that here. Do you think you could do your front flip off of your other side?
I could, but it will be more mental, like a little scarier because I'm not used to it. I'm doing good side takeoff, back side roll. Hopefully I don't overdo it.
Yeah. So Nithin's gonna maybe try doing his other foot takeoff, so he could roll over his better side. But it's scary for him because it's completely different, and it's also not the same side he side flips on. So it's harder for him to spot his landing.
I was so lost in the air.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So for me, I'm more concerned about the stuff happening in the air, the front flip part. I'm more comfortable doing my good side in the air. Even if I do a good flip, I'm pretty sure I can pull off a decent roll on my back side and I can be safe. So that one is more comfortable. This is a little hard on my brain.
So because Nithin prefers doing his takeoff on his left side, he's gonna stick with that side and he's just gonna do his shoulder roll over his bad side shoulder roll. Speaking of shoulder rolls, we're actually gonna see if we can experiment with what Dom does, which is dumping our shoulder roll off to the side. Okay, don't judge me, but this is how Dom actually does his shoulder rolls when he's front flipping from height. The way you're gonna come down into your landing is with a split step stance, aiming to land both feet about the same time. And then you're gonna place your hands down kind of like a traditional roll, but just dump yourself sideways. So you're not gonna go really much over your shoulder, you're gonna really just go over the side of your back. This roll technique is definitely breaking the rule of a good shoulder roll technique. Even Dom doesn't use this 100% of the time. But for bigger dive fronts that have a lot of impact, sometimes it's safer to just throw your hips off to the side instead of risking driving your shoulder or your face into the ground. We got ample practice on this new roll technique. So let's see if we can apply it to our dive front.
It's actually nicer.
That was
Actually nicer on the body. Oh, so clean.
yeah.
You really thought about the roll.
Just looking at your spotting here.
Yeah.
So you're actually able to spot quite early on. If we look at Nathan's,
It's coming more straight.
he's a little bit more straight. You can't really see the ground until just like a little bit later than Nathan. So if you want to do it a little bit more like Dom does it, you're gonna have to start spotting your landing a little bit earlier in your flip.
Yeah. Yeah, when you dunk it.
started. You looked this way. You know, that was definitely better. Like you started opening up for your spot, but look where your eyes are.
I feel like I can see totally fine, like super.
No,
early,
that one was
it's
good.
just like even earlier.
You're able to open and start seeing what's
Yeah.
happening like quite
Yeah.
early on. So we gonna take the mats away?
Guess so.
Yeah, you guess so. All right, let's
Guess
do
we're
it.
doing it.
You ready?
Yep. Let's go.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That looked like Dom. Maybe doing ridiculous dive front flips aren't for you, but if it is something that you might be pursuing, we did find 3 things that could help you out. So tip number 1, make sure that your diving split step stance is the same as your shoulder roll side. Tip number 2, break your traditional roll and try to dump it off to the side. Tip number 3, adjust your mid-air position so that you can spot your landing, and it'll help if you side flip that way too. Big shout out to Dom Tomato. If there's anything we missed, Dom, let us know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please remember to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment below and let us know what move you want us to cover next. Got it.
The man.